Oppenheimer reminded me that our entire survival depends only on the sanity of our world leaders. Hey guys, welcome back to the Silver Emotion. Today we'll be talking about Oppenheimer, the latest movie by director Christopher Nolan. I wouldn't say that the films of Christopher Nolan and I have some form of love-hate relationship, but I will definitely say that some of his movies have taken my breath away and some just didn't land for me. I was truly hoping to be able to put together all of my Christopher Nolan movies in order and make a video about it, but unfortunately I ran out of time with life itself, to be honest with you guys. And now that I've watched the movie, I also have some perspective so that when I make that video of all of my Christopher Nolan movies in order, I'll be able to place this movie properly. Before I start talking about the movie, I would like to point out something, one of those crazy coincidences. Just the other morning, I was doing a bit of research about nuclear weapons, how they work, the different protocols that must be taken in order for these weapons to be used. And as I was searching for it, I came across the news. And in the news, it says that North Korea is threatening to use nuclear weapons because apparently there was some, the US had a submarine near their coast or something like that. Truly, it's something that I just watched in passing, but thought it was one of those horrific coincidences since I was researching about the movie Oppenheimer and the horror that can be nuclear war. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I find it just terrifying to think that our entire existence as a species depends on just a few guys keeping their mental health in check. Because any moment, one of these guys could just go crazy and end it all. I believe this is one of the many reasons why Christopher Nolan decided to use practical effects when it comes to the explosion instead of CGI, because of the horror that nuclear war represents. When you think of the greatest horrors in cinema, they are all, if not most of all, made with practical effects. There's something about the lack of CGI, something about the effect being practical and tangible and real that takes the horror to the next level. And honestly, Oppenheimer had a lot of horror elements, including jump scares. As you can see in my thumbnail, the phrase that I decided to use was, let's be honest. And if you read my channel description, I say something along the lines of genuine movie reviews and commentary, something along the lines of that. I don't even remember right now. I feel like I should be more prepared for this, but what I try to convey with that channel description is that I am going to be 100% honest with you guys, no matter what. No matter the movie, no matter what the trends are, no matter what everyone thinks. If I think something, I am going to be 100% honest with you and let you know how I feel about a certain movie. So now let's talk about Oppenheimer. I would like to start with the positives. Every actor is here. And I mean every actor. This can be a positive and it can also be a negative. Positive, it's cool because you're watching the entire movie and it seemed like even if it was any speaking role in this movie, if they said a single phrase, you knew that person. So you're gonna be watching this movie and it's gonna be one of those movies in which you'll see somebody appears, they say a phrase and you're like, oh, I know that guy from here, or I know that guy from that TV show, I know that guy from that movie. It was one of those movies in which I don't even know. It seemed like Christopher Nolan decided to make a movie and every single actor in Hollywood was like, hey, you got a little part for me? And Christopher just couldn't say no. He was just like, you know what? Yeah, I can make it work. I'll throw you in. So yeah, it can be a positive and it can definitely be a negative. But for now, we're talking about the positives. On the same note, talking about actors, I absolutely love every actor in this movie. They all do an excellent job. And Cillian Murphy is incredible as Oppenheimer. I'll go ahead and say something that I think I've never heard anybody say before, probably for fear of, people saying like, oh, you're superficial, or I don't know. But I'll just say things, again, I'm going to be honest with you guys here. I believe that Cillian Murphy is probably one of the greatest actors of his generation, up there with someone such as Leonardo DiCaprio. But Cillian Murphy is definitely limited by his looks. Now, by no means am I saying that Cillian Murphy is a bad looking guy. That's not what I'm saying here. But it would be a total lie for me to say that I don't find his looks terrifying at times. And I feel that it is his looks, those eyes, those piercing eyes that he has, that have limited as an actor to a point, because it doesn't matter how you look, your skill and talent will overcome almost anything. Cillian Murphy is one of those actors that can overcome almost any challenge because he is that freaking good. The way him and Christopher Nolan convey the mental conflict that must have been to create something such as a nuclear weapon it's unbelievable. That is some of the best parts of the movie. I don't think I could talk pretty much about the entire movie, and I wouldn't consider anything a spoiler here unless I'm describing you every single scene with detail. I find that is the strength of this movie. That is the movie at its highest point is where it shows how Oppenheimer deals with this conflict. Talking about Christopher Nolan, for what I can remember, and again, I'd be lying to you if I told you that I remember every single Christopher Nolan movie from beginning to end. I'm a huge fan, but right now, let's say that you ask me about Tenet. Is a movie that I started, but I did not finish. And when it comes to Memento, same thing. It is a movie that I remember starting it, but I did not finish it. So all of those movies, I definitely have to go for it and watch them in order to give you guys a list of my favorite Christopher Nolan movies in order. With that said, what I've seen from Christopher Nolan, I truly love. But the point that I'm trying to get to is that for what I remember, the way he handles movies, this might be his most quote-unquote humble movie. And I say that because I feel that he really took a step back and let all of the, if not most of the focus to fall on the actors, their performances, their interactions. He really left a lot of breathing room for the actors. Another thing that I really like is his efforts to make this 3-hour movie go by as quickly as possible. And you can tell that Christopher Nolan is putting a lot of work, a lot of effort into bringing the pace of this movie up. And that's going to be about it for the positives. Overall, I mean, nothing that you guys wouldn't know. Every actor is perfect in the movie. The movie is beautifully directed. I absolutely love the sound design. It looks beautiful. The practical effects are amazing. But unfortunately, this movie is far from perfect. I would like to start with the obvious. This is a 3-hour movie, and despite all the efforts that Christopher Nolan puts into bringing that pacing up, as I already explained, is that it was impossible. It was impossible. Guys, this movie is too long. Keep in mind, I am someone who enjoys a slow cook. I like slow movies. I like movies that take their time. I mean, I love a movie such as Blade Runner, which is very much a slow cook. But believe me when I say, guys, I walked into this movie theater. The movie theater was packed, okay? It was full. And there was this sense of excitement in the movie theater. Everyone was excited, ready to watch the movie. And you could tell as the movie kept moving forward, this sense of excitement was just getting lost in the crowd, to the point that, if my memory is not failing me right now, I believe I saw one gentleman get up and leave before the movie was over. At the end of the movie, nobody clapped. Everybody, I mean, instantly as the movie ended, everybody got up from their seats and they just left. What I heard from the crowd as I was walking out were pretty much that, like everybody just talking about how long the movie was. And I have to agree with all of them. I felt that this movie was too long, which is an issue that I find with Christopher Nolan at times. And I feel that Christopher Nolan is one of those guys that is extremely intelligent. He surrounds himself with very intelligent people. He reads a lot. He knows a lot about everything. And this movie gave me the feeling that it's almost as if he assumes that you are going to do a ton of research on Oppenheimer in this time period and everything that happened before you go and watch the movie. And that is not the case. That is not the case with 90%, I'd say 9 out of 10 people, if not maybe more, I'll go ahead and say 99% of people that go to watch the movie. That is not the case. They don't go to it and take a history class and then go watch Oppenheimer. That's not what they do. They go watch a movie for the entertainment, and because they know that Christopher Nolan usually delivers high quality material that is very entertaining, that it makes you think, that it is, like I said, you expect something solid and something good. But I believe in this movie he might have taken it a step too far when it comes to that. I truly believe that there is an alternative universe in which Christopher Nolan made a 2-hour and 20-minute version of Oppenheimer, and that is one of the greatest movies ever made. Another thing to talk about, in spite of how amazing a lot of the actors are and how interesting the characters are, I didn't find a single character likable. I didn't, and if you found anyone who was likable, you truly didn't have any time with that character to truly get to know them and to like it as much as you could have if, the movie would have taken the time with that particular character. Unfortunately, we have a cast of 535 known actors, so everybody needed a little bit of space in the movie, and it was just, for lack of a better word, very convoluted. And one very last nitpick that I have about the movie is when he switches to black and white, I'm totally cool with the stylistic choices that he made of using certain parts of the movie in black and white. It's not the why that I'm against, it's the how. The black and white, and listen to what I'm about to say, okay? The black and white to me seemed cheap for a Christopher Nolan movie. That is insane for me to say, okay? When I think of like a solid black and white, like a solid modern movie that utilizes black and white, I think of something like Schindler's List. When you watch that movie, you truly feel that you're watching a movie that was made back then when movies were in black and white. In Oppenheimer, it just looks like he just put a black and white filter with his phone, and that's what we're watching. And again, I don't know if it was the way the movie theater that I went to projected the movie. I don't know if I'm alone in this one, but if anybody else out there noticed this, please let me know in the comments. Let me know if I'm crazy or something, but I don't know. When I was watching the black and white sections, I was like, man, this just looks like he just put like a cheap black and white filter, and that's pretty much it. I truly want to make sure that you guys know that I don't consider Oppenheimer a bad movie whatsoever. As I mentioned in one of the shorts that I put out. By the way, quick side note, from now on, I'm using YouTube only for long form content. I'm putting all of my short content on TikTok. So if you guys want to watch me talking in a more, fast-paced way, or just, short content overall, just go to TikTok and find Silver Emotion. You can see me talking about movies over there. But I put out a short saying that I try to clear my mind during this whole week to go watch this movie, not for what I expected it to be, but for what the movie was going to be. For what the movie is on its own, without any expectations. And I did my best to do that. And when the time came, it was a bit of a letdown when it comes to the flow of the movie, the way you get to love some of the characters in Christopher Nolan's movies. You don't get any of that in this movie. When you watch Inception, you like every character, how they all come together, how each one of them has this set of skills. I don't know, there's something cool about the characters that Christopher Nolan puts on screen. Interstellar, how much you like certain characters in that movie. This movie, in my opinion, had none of that, unfortunately. With all of the 3-hour runtime, it just didn't have time to let you love any of its characters. Alright guys, as always, thank you so much for your support. This is the Silver Motion. I will see you on the next one.